All right. Welcome. Back again, once again, time and time again, my friends. And you know what time it is? It's in between 3 and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that means we are having our live stream Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays in between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hop on here. Just do a quick live stream giving you basically the direction of where I see the market going for the next coming day or two. Just giving you some direction, answering all questions that hop into the chat, and then as well answering any other questions you have just about Forex and Forex trading. So make sure you are subscribed, turn the post notifications on so you get updated anytime I do go live or post any educational content on this channel here. I think I have the best channel with the most content, free content at that, for you to be able to navigate the markets in a successful, also a congruent or consistent type of way. But without further ado, let's get right into it. XAU USD is how we started it off, and we're going to get right into it. So XAU USD, aka gold, on the monthly time frame, we spoke about it. It broke below some previous structure support, came back, retested it as resistance, and then continued to make a move to the downside. From there, we were bullish for a while, breaking and creating structure to the upside on the monthly, and not until we came back into this level right around in here, where we originally broke out and made a move to the upside, did we start to see the explosion to the upside. But as you know, what I say on this channel as well a lot of times is the market can't move in one direction forever. So yes, this retracement on the monthly, because we are extremely bearish, needs to happen in order to continue bearish or continue the market trend. But we just know the market can't move in one direction forever. So even though we had the explosion to the upside, still if we drop to the weekly, you can see that there is some areas that the market is going to really be attracted to, or be a magnet to that area, which is previous structure resistance, now turn support. Since we are so bullish on the monthly, this current monthly candle has exploded to the upside, as well as this weekly candle has exploded to the upside, or last week's weekly candle exploded to the upside, excuse me. And this week we are starting to have what looks like the retracement. Now if we drop down to the daily, we can expect that after an impulse, there needs to be a retracement in order to continue the trend, which is the most common pattern in the market. And last time we spoke about this, I had said that I will be looking for a move back down to logical places that the market will go, which was previous structure resistance, now turn support, or should act as support for a continuation to the upside. Is that going to happen in one day? No, it may take a few days. So that gave me the direction that I needed to go ahead and look for an opportunity today, which I do want to highlight, is that we're expecting this move to the downside to go ahead and retest some of these areas. And I was able to extract a 3R risk to reward trade out of the market today for obviously 3R. But it was real nice and easy because I knew the direction of the overall time frame. So the higher time frame perspective gave me direction on which way I wanted to take this trade. It was a nice and easy move to the downside, come back for a slow retracement, started to slow down the momentum of the retracement and start to make moves to the downside. I saw that as an opportunity, and then immediately I hopped in for a quick day trade, which is just previous structure resistance or support now acting as the opposite. So we had some support right around in this area, set my limit right around that area, stop above the highs, and looked for the market to create a lower low, which lines up perfectly with the negative 272 on the Fibonacci retracement taken of the overall retracement on this hourly time frame. So I know that sounds like a lot, but it's really, really simple. Simply put, we had a move to the downside. We had a nice and easy slow retracement. Once the momentum started to shift, I then looked for an opportunity to continue the trend to the downside, and that's exactly what I got. So a nice and easy 3R risk to reward trade secured on this day. If you do want to see some types of updates that I do as far as trading in my life, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. The links are in the description as well. You can click that and follow me for the updates that I do post. But yeah, this was a really nice trade, really simple to sit through. Actually forgot that I had this trade this limit set, and then once price was all the way down here, I saw that I had been triggered into this trade and moving straight to the take profit, so I was really happy about that. But back to normal schedule, we can drop down to XAG USD from the monthly time frame. On the monthly, we are starting to break above some structure. Simply put, previous structure resistance now turns support over on this side. That's how the market moves, so keep that in mind as well. We're doing multi-time frame analysis to find the best opportunities and probabilities of a trade. If we do drop down to the weekly time frame, you can see that I highlighted on a few streams that we had a move to the downside, move up, and we had a break above that structure. The most logical place is to come back down to the neckline, which is a pattern that completes 80 to 90% of the time. If you would like to learn how I take advantage of these moves or these patterns that form in the market over and over and over and over, and learn to extract some types of trades out of these movements, go ahead and click the link in the description. It will take you straight to my FX Savant University page, where you can get access to all the strategies that I use, as well as the entry systems, the exit systems, money management, and everything along with that. But simply put, from a weekly time frame perspective, we had previous structure resistance right around this area that you want to see the market come back to and retest before continuing the trend, which is exactly what we got from the weekly time frame on XAG USD. Now on the daily time frame, we had spoke about this, and it was sitting right at previous structure resistance that should act as support on the daily time frame. And if we were to get some sort of movement to the upside, I would be looking for that. But I also said that most logical place for the market to come down to is somewhere right around in this region for a continuation to the upside. The market is moving down, retracement phase. It would take some levels of structure to be broken back up to the upside for me to look for buy opportunities. But as it is right now, I would just be waiting for this to go ahead and complete what I think is the short-term retracement. So move to the upside, come back down, retest this area for a continuation to the upside. Basically put, I will be patient, waiting on this opportunity in the market on XAG USD. Now we're going to pick it up and go a little quicker through some of these. So keep that in mind. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. I will answer them once we get through. So XBT USD on the monthly time frame, breaking above some levels of structure that I would like to see it break above for me to look for possible buy opportunities. But if we look at the weekly, at the beginning of the week, we were extended to the upside. So this impulse had just completed itself, and now we're starting the retracement. Logical areas the market could come into before continuing the trend to the upside is right around this area. And then we could see the explosion to the upside from there. Previous structure resistance now acting as support, simply put, on that. And if we do drop down to the daily time frame, we can identify that yes, we broke below some structure that we did not want to see the market break below. And from there, if we were to get the movement to the upside, could look for a possible TMCP. If you are in the program, if you are in the university, you would know what that is. But since we started to break down below some of these areas, this could be a possible place that the market comes back into for previous structure resistance. Broken to the downside should act as resistance again for a continuation to the downside until broken above. So to buy this pair or to buy this market, I would need to see some levels of structure broken on the daily to the upside before I look for buy opportunities. But as it is right now, this could be a bearish move going into next week. US oil monthly time frame, we spoke about it. Previous structure resistance should act as support. We're starting to get disrespected on this level. We did have a bounce to the upside where you wanted to see the next one or next candle fill in the wick. If we drop down to the weekly time frame, you can see that we did get that wick fill right around in here. Market moved back up, but now we are starting to reject some of these areas to the downside quite aggressively. So on the weekly, we are starting to break and close below some levels of support, which could prompt us to go ahead and continue to the downside for more downside movement. On the weekly, if it closes as it is right now, we could look for that continuation. Now, last time we spoke about this, I was saying that the market could either break above some levels of structure on the daily for me to look for buys, but if it starts to break and close below some of these levels, I will be looking for sales. Since we've gotten that close below some of these major structure levels, if we do get some type of retracement back into these levels, I will look for the continuation if it sets itself up or presents itself. Now we can slide down to the Forex market on Euro USD. Last time we spoke about it, the market was literally sitting right at previous structure support that should act as resistance. On the monthly, we are starting to get rejected from that level just a little bit, and so we could expect more bearishness just to follow simple market structure from a monthly time frame perspective. If we look at the weekly, you can see we had an explosion to the upside. The weekly continued, then rejected, made a move to the downside, and looks as if it wants to go ahead and continue the trend to the downside to at least come retest some of these levels of structure. So we have a level of support right in here that the market broke below, and then once broken back above, we have not come and retested that area yet, which could prompt us to see the continuation to the upside. But this is the weekly time frame, so it would take some time to develop. More importantly, on the daily time frame, you can see that we did have what I said, we want to see the next one fill in the wick. So when this impulse stops, if it does start to close and break below some of these levels of structure on the daily, it could prompt this market to be a little bit bearish going into next week, now that we see that this week is starting to end. So if the market closes as it is right now, it will close right around here. I will look for the impulse to the downside to complete itself, and then a retracement back into previous levels of structure for a continuation to the downside going into next week. GBP USD on the monthly time frame. On the monthly, was sitting right at previous structure support, now turned resistance, or should act as resistance, which is right around this level. It is currently sitting right there. So this could be a possible move where the second half of this month continues the trend of the monthly time frame. Now on the weekly, we are sitting just about above that level, so we could see a possible continuation to the upside, which is highly likely as the way it looks right now. We have a move to the downside, breaking below some structure. If we go ahead and get that impulse to the upside, we could possibly see something like a left shoulder, a head down in here, and a right shoulder that could initiate the market to continue to create higher highs and higher lows. But if we look at the daily time frame, you can see that we are sitting right on previous structure support or resistance, now turned support. So we have a level in the market here that the market broke above, came back, retested it as support, respected it, and then started to continuation to the upside as it is right now on the daily time frame. But if we do either way, we would still need to see the market either break above these levels or break down and close below these levels for a continuation to the downside or the upside on either situation. So we're still waiting for a break of structure and the market to close and show us the direction that it's going to go. But either way, we still need to wait for this market to develop just a little bit. AUD USD monthly time frame was sitting at previous structure support that should act as resistance. We started to get that respected a little bit on the monthly. If we look at the weekly candles, we can see that the weekly had a nice and easy ride up to come retest some of these previous structure levels, and from there has started to get rejected for a continuation to the downside. Now on the daily, if we look at AUD USD, we are starting to close below some levels of structure on the daily, which could prompt this market to go ahead and retest some of these levels for a continuation to the upside if it wants to do that. But it looks as if right now the move to the downside is the highest probability for the continuation of what we see. We're starting to get rejected on the monthly, starting to get rejected on the weekly, and we are starting to make moves to the downside, closing below some structure on the daily. So a continuation to the downside, maybe a TMCP2 if you are in the university. You have the strategy TMCP2 back down to some of these levels could be a possibility. Just looking for at least a nice and easy 2R risk to reward, but if you get more, don't be opposed to taking that. USD CAD monthly time frame. On the monthly, last stated we are bullish, but we would like to see the market come back and retest previous structure resistance that should act as support over on this side. We did get that, and we are starting to reject just a hair on the weekly time frame. You can see that we did make moves to the downside. We had this nice pattern form which is a pattern that completes 80 to 90% of the time in M formation, where we could possibly see the continuation to the upside to go ahead and complete that pattern, which would complete right around this level. From there, we would be set up nice and easy for a continuation to the downside. But if we drop down to the daily time frame, you can see that we still need to see some levels of structure broken. So we have this level of support that will need to be broken to the upside for us to see the continuation to the upside, possibly from a daily time frame perspective. But as we are currently right now, just sitting, there's no real possible opportunities from the way that we trade over here that could look interesting for us going into next week or early next week. So we would still need to see some levels of the market broken either to the upside or to the downside for the continuation either way to happen. So just chilling on USD CAD, really. NZD USD monthly time frame, previous structure support should act as resistance right in here. If we drop down to the weekly time frame, what we can see is that we had a nice and easy move to the downside. All these candles are the same color, and then we had a nice and easy move to the upside to come retest the last structure broken once we broke to the downside. Now, since we are sitting right at this level, you can expect the market to give us some sort of retracement. And if we look at it from the daily time frame perspective, last time we spoke about it, we had this candle. You want to see the next one fill in the wick. As it is right now, we did not get that. We actually got the structure respected, which is the way the market moves. So the highest probabilities is to find some sort of resistance, break above, come back, retest that as support for a continuation to the upside. Now, we tried the continuation to the upside today and got rejected from these highs. So possibly going into next week, we could see the break below some of these levels that could prompt us on a retest of this previous structure resistance right in here. Broken to the downside as previous structure or current structure resistance acting once again for a continuation to the downside, just to go ahead and tap into previous structure levels. So previous structure resistance should be acting as support and is a magnet to the price because it would like to go and retest those areas in order to continue the trend, just simple market structure. But if we do go ahead and get a close and break below some of these levels, a nice and easy retest could prompt or initiate the move to the downside to come retest these levels before continuation to the upside. So that's what I'll be looking for next week, is a close, break and close below some of these levels. USD CHF from the monthly time frame. On the monthly, we have a level in the market that we got rejected, finally broke above it, came back immediately into the area. So this could be a possible area that we see the monthly either close below, come back, retest for a continuation to the downside, or it could possibly come back this month. If it does, then we could be in a different situation. But from the weekly time frame, you can see that we did close below all this structure level right in here, which provides us with a nice and easy area right around here that could be used as the left shoulder head, break down below into the area, come back, retest for a continuation to the downside. But either way, this area is a high probability area that the market may come into. And if we look at it from a daily time frame perspective, we are getting a nice and easy TMCP 1. If you are on the program, you know what that means on this market. So we could see a nice and easy move to the downside, breaking structure, impulsing to the downside, come back for a retracement for a continuation to the downside if the market wants to go ahead and do that. But what we would need to see is the market in the retracement and start the next impulse. So we still have time for this market to develop for an opportunity for us. I will be patiently waiting for that. And then we also have USD JPY from the monthly time frame, extremely bullish. We've been breaking and creating structure to the upside for a few months now. And not only that, we've been doing it with a lot of momentum, velocity, and volatility. So we're moving to the upside very, very aggressively. Where the retracement has started, it came back down into previous structure resistance that should act as support, and that's even on the monthly time frame perspective. Now, if we drop down to the weekly, on the weekly, we can see that we had a very aggressive move to the downside last week with this weekly candle pushing to the downside. So until some of these levels to the upside on the weekly are broken, the probabilities to the downside are higher than the probabilities to the upside, even though we are sitting at previous structure resistance that should act as support. Now, if we drop down to the daily time frame, you can see that the daily candles are not as aggressive or not as momentous as the bearish candles. So we're kind of trapped in between some levels of structure. So we've created some resistance in here. We obviously have support right in here. We would still need a deeper retracement of some sort to prompt us into looking for possible sell opportunities once this retracement ends. But there is an opportunity or possibility the market could come all the way back up here to come retest some of these levels that was previous structure before. So simply put, USD JPY is not providing any possible opportunities here in the next few days. So the next 1 or 2 days, there will probably be no opportunities that I can take advantage of, just simply put. So there are a few pairs that are showing something nice, a few pairs that still need some time to develop on the Forex market and the major pairs. So I will keep an eye out for those as well, as we can look at BTC USD from a monthly time frame perspective. Now over here we keep it simple and consistent. Simply put, on the monthly time frame, we have previous structure resistance all in this area. So all of this is monthly resistance that could act as support for a continuation to the upside, and we are coming into those levels. Now if we look at the weekly time frame, you can see that on the weekly we are bearish. We've been breaking structure to the downside, creating lower lows and lower highs as well. So we could see more continuation to the downside until some of these levels of support that should act as resistance are broken to the upside and disrespected. And if we look at the daily time frame, you can see that last Friday we spoke about this pair continuing to the downside, and since then it's just been somewhat consolidating. We wanted to see a deep retracement to come retest some of these levels. We got that with one candle, and then from there we started to consolidate almost sideways on this market. So we could possibly look for the continuation to the downside just because the momentum is that way and we are below some daily structure. There could be a possible move to the downside to go ahead and just complete the most common pattern, even though it is a complex correction in the market, which is simply just a break of structure, come back, retest that structure to continue the trend of the overall time frame that you're on. So that pretty much sums up BTC USD, the Forex market, some commodities as well. I don't really have too much more to go over, but if you do have any questions, let me know. We can run through those real quick. I don't see too much. But other than that, I hope you all are having a profitable week on and off the charts. And remember, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we go over this live stream just to give you some sense of direction, give you an opportunity to ask any questions, so an opportunity for you to get some free education as well. So make sure you're tapped in, tuned in for that. But that's it. Don't see too much. I'm gonna get up out of here and let y'all enjoy your weekend. Yeah. Until next time, y'all. Appreciate y'all for being in here if you made it this far and viewing. But I'm out.